Have you ever wondered how you would cope if you lost your lifelong companion? Life is unpredictable, and the loss of a spouse can leave you feeling adrift, with a void that seems impossible to fill. But what if there were ways not only to cope, but to find renewed purpose and joy even after such a profound loss? Join us as we explore the inspirational stories of 3 individuals who faced this difficult journey and emerged stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled. Through their experiences, they reveal life-changing insights about rediscovering independence, rekindling happiness, and rebuilding hope, even in the wake of the most heartbreaking farewell. Life, after all, is like a winding road where companions join us for different lengths of the journey. Tom, a widower from Chicago, compares it to a long train ride, where some fellow passengers may leave before our destination. When they have to depart, he says, we honor the moments they shared with us. And when someone stays for much of the journey, we are all the more grateful. Tom's reflections are a reminder that love, whether it lasts a few seasons or many, is a gift to be cherished. Having a partner by your side in youth and old age is a profound blessing. But love doesn't always last a lifetime. Some relationships end sooner than expected, whether from illness or unforeseen accidents, and the home that once felt full of life can suddenly feel unbearably empty. Yet, despite the pain and loneliness, time continues forward, and though those we've lost cannot return, it's still possible to find a way to thrive. 3 individuals, each with a story of resilience, share their wisdom with others facing a similar journey. Their message to those in their later years who have lost a spouse is clear. By refusing to give in to 3 common pitfalls, it's possible to build a meaningful, peaceful life in the years that remain. Following these insights can make your golden years truly fulfilling and serene. 1. Immersing in excessive grief for too long. Imagine the loss of someone who was by your side through most of your life. A love so deep that its absence feels insurmountable. The memories of shared moments can be both comforting and painfully bittersweet. This was the reality for Emily, a spirited 72-year-old woman from Seattle with a laugh as warm as a summer breeze and a love for adventure that kept her young at heart. Emily and her husband, James, had shared over 4 decades of a life filled with laughter, travel, and family. They had raised children together, taken spontaneous road trips, and celebrated each season's arrival with traditions they created. To Emily, James wasn't just her husband, he was her best friend, her rock, the person who knew her better than anyone. Then, one morning in January, James passed away unexpectedly. The loss shattered Emily's world in a way that she couldn't even begin to process. She had always considered herself a strong, resilient woman, but in the face of this unimaginable loss, she felt vulnerable and lost. Days and nights blurred as she drifted through the empty house, a silent echo of the life they had built together. Everywhere she looked, she saw traces of him, his favorite armchair, his reading glasses still on the bedside table, the unfinished crossword puzzle he'd been working on. The weeks turned into months, and Emily found herself sinking deeper into sorrow. Her children and friends were gentle but persistent, calling, visiting, encouraging her to join them for coffee, for a walk, for anything that might bring a semblance of life back into her world. Yet, in Emily's mind, engaging with life felt like a betrayal to the memory of James. She believed that to keep his memory alive, she had to stay connected to her grief. Each evening, she would sit by their wedding photo, whispering to him, sharing her day as if he were still beside her. She replayed their happiest memories on a loop, convinced that letting go of the sadness might erase him from her life. As time went on, Emily's isolation grew. Friends drifted away, unable to break through the walls of sorrow she had built. Her children, deeply worried, suggested counseling, but she was resistant. They won't understand, she would say. How could anyone understand the bond we had? Yet, despite her resistance, Emily's daughter, Anna, convinced her to attend a grief support group, promising just one session as a test. Reluctantly, Emily agreed, her heart heavy as she entered the room filled with people of all ages and backgrounds. She sat quietly, listening to others share their stories of love and loss. A middle-aged man shared the heartache of losing his wife to illness, and an elderly woman spoke of her journey after her husband's passing. Emily was shocked by how deeply she connected with their words. As she listened, she felt a strange sense of release, a reminder that she was not alone in her pain. For the first time in months, she didn't feel isolated. As she began to attend the sessions regularly, Emily slowly found herself opening up. She shared the moments that made her laugh and cry, the quiet mornings with coffee, and the comfort of James's embrace on difficult days. Each week, she spoke a little more, until she realized she had begun to move forward, one tiny step at a time. She allowed herself to experience happiness without the crushing guilt, embracing the knowledge that loving James didn't mean she had to sacrifice her own life. One afternoon, her counselor encouraged her to take up a new hobby. After some thought, she decided to enroll in a pottery class. Though hesitant at first, Emily found herself becoming absorbed in the process, losing herself in the act of creating something with her own hands. It reminded her of the life she once had, a life filled with laughter, warmth, and joy. She began crafting small vases and bowls, imagining them as gifts for her grandchildren, something tangible she could leave behind as a legacy of her own. The world around her slowly came alive again. She adopted a small dog named Leo, a cheerful companion who would greet her each morning, filling the silence that once haunted her. Emily took to daily walks in the park, appreciating the beauty around her, the rustling leaves, the sound of children playing, the smell of flowers blooming. For the first time, she could walk past places where she and James once went together and feel a sense of peace instead of sorrow. Emily's journey wasn't just about moving past her grief. It was about learning to live with it in a way that didn't consume her. She realized that grief doesn't have to mean a life sentence of sorrow. Instead, it could be a bridge to a life that honored the past but embraced the future. Through this process, she transformed her pain into resilience, finding purpose in her own healing. Emily's story is a powerful reminder of the fine line between honoring our grief and allowing it to consume us. Grieving the loss of a loved one is natural, and feeling sorrow is part of the healing process. But as Emily's journey illustrates, immersing in that grief too deeply for too long can make us prisoners of our own sorrow. By slowly letting go of the weight of loss, she found a way to carry James's memory as a source of strength, not sadness. In the end, Emily learned to balance cherishing the memories of her life with James while creating new memories of her own. Her story serves as a lesson. We can honor those we've lost by choosing to live fully in their absence. By making room for life's beauty and joy even amid our sorrow, she found comfort in simple routines, in the kindness of friends, in laughter shared with her grandchildren, and even in her little dog, Leo. Through Emily's story, we are reminded that while grief is powerful, so is the human spirit's capacity to heal and grow. Let her journey inspire those who find themselves lost in sorrow to take one step forward. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to live, embracing life's ebb and flow, and carrying forward the love and memories that once filled our hearts. 2. Relying too much on children for the rest of your life. Have you ever wondered about the lives of aging parents who choose to live with their grown children? Do they find comfort and happiness? Or does it sometimes lead to unforeseen challenges and heartache? This is the journey of Nancy, a 67-year-old widow from Boston, who bravely chose to live on her own after years of living with her daughter. Her experience sheds light on the importance of independence and the search for true happiness in one's golden years. Join us as we explore Nancy's story and uncover why. Sometimes, the best companion you can have is yourself. Nancy was 67 when her husband, Robert, passed away. They had built a life together full of love, laughter, and family memories. Losing him felt like losing a part of herself, and the thought of facing life alone felt overwhelming. Her daughter, Sarah, who had just welcomed her first child, urged Nancy to move in, insisting it would be a chance for her to rest and feel supported. Nancy felt grateful and reassured by Sarah's offer. Her heart warmed at the idea of being close to her grandchild and helping her daughter. With Sarah's encouragement, Nancy moved in, bringing with her the pieces of her former life. First, everything seemed perfect. Nancy devoted her time to her grandson, Ethan, who was a bundle of energy and curiosity. She found joy in his laughter and in the small, everyday moments, like preparing his meals and reading bedtime stories. She poured her love and energy into helping Sarah and doing her best to make herself useful. In her heart, Nancy believed she was fulfilling her role, giving back to the family she had nurtured for years. The arrangement appeared to be ideal, a source of comfort and companionship. Over time, though, cracks began to appear. Sarah and her husband, David, had demanding jobs, often leaving early and returning late. As a result, Nancy became the primary caregiver for Ethan, balancing the responsibilities of cooking, cleaning, and caring for the household. Her days, once filled with independence, were now scheduled around her family's needs. Though her daughter initially gave her a small monthly allowance, she eventually stopped, reasoning that Nancy's pension could cover her expenses. Nancy felt an unease creep in. She sensed a shift in her relationship with her daughter, who now seemed to view her presence less as support and more as expectation. As Ethan grew older, Nancy felt her role changing. Her daughter, caught up in the whirlwind of her own life, spent less time with her mother. Nancy noticed how they had started to have disagreements on small things, like finances or household expenses, topics that were once easy to discuss openly. She even found herself clashing with Sarah over how to raise Ethan. Nancy believed in discipline and guidance, but Sarah felt her son should grow freely, naturally, without too many rules. These differences in philosophy widened the emotional gap between them. More and more, Nancy found herself feeling out of place in the home, a subtle, growing sense of isolation amidst her own family. Eventually, she recognized that her presence had become a source of quiet tension. Sarah's busy life, her husband's long hours, and Ethan's blossoming independence all seemed to push Nancy further from the family unit she had tried so hard to support. After months of soul-searching and inner struggle, Nancy made a bold decision to live alone once again. She approached Sarah with her choice, and while Sarah expressed that she'd miss her, Nancy could see the sense of relief in her daughter's eyes. Her departure would allow them both to find the balance they had lost. Returning to her own home was a bittersweet experience. For the first few weeks, the silence was almost unbearable. She was used to the sound of her grandson's laughter and the constant hum of activity in her daughter's house. Now, her life seemed quieter, simpler, and emptier than she'd ever imagined. She missed the days of caring for her family, but also felt a strange sense of freedom she hadn't known in years. She could plan her days without interruption, pursue her own interests, and, for the first time since Robert's passing, reflect on what she wanted. To combat the loneliness, Nancy threw herself into activities she had once enjoyed. She joined a local painting class, where she found joy in expressing herself through color and creativity. She took up Tai Chi, which brought her peace and a new group of friends who shared similar experiences. She spent mornings in the park with a book or in cafes, connecting with people she would have never met otherwise. Nancy began to feel a renewed purpose, a life on her terms. What surprised her the most was the transformation in her relationship with Sarah. No longer living under the same roof, they rediscovered the value of each other's presence. Nancy became a frequent visitor in Sarah's life, but as a guest, a friend, and a cherished family member. Their conversations grew warmer, their time together more meaningful. The time apart allowed each of them to develop their own lives while still holding space for each other. In this new balance, Nancy found that being independent didn't mean being alone. It meant having the freedom to create a life she genuinely enjoyed. Nancy's story is a powerful reminder of the importance of independence, self-reliance, and resilience in our later years. As lifespans increase, more people face the challenge of creating lives filled with purpose after the loss of a partner. While living with adult children can seem like a practical solution, Nancy's experience shows that independence often brings greater fulfillment and dignity. For many older adults, finding a path to self-sufficiency and maintaining autonomy leads to a more satisfying and meaningful retirement. This story is not just about Nancy, it's a broader lesson for us all. As we age, The goal is not merely to seek comfort in the company of loved ones, but to also cherish and cultivate our own sense of purpose. The desire to give back to our families is natural, but so is the need for personal freedom. Nancy's journey illustrates that by letting go of certain dependencies, we open the door to a richer life filled with personal growth, joy, and self-respect. If you find Nancy's story inspiring and feel encouraged by her journey, please leave a comment with a 9. If not, share your thoughts with a 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for taking the time to read and reflect on this journey of independence and fulfillment. 3. Rushing into a new relationship or remarrying. Searching for a new partner or remarrying in one's later years is a decision that warrants deep thought and reflection. Consider the story of Mrs. Linda. At 62, after losing her first husband, she thought she'd found someone to share the rest of her life with, only to face unexpected heartache and challenges. Her experience serves as a cautionary tale for anyone contemplating remarriage in their golden years. Let's explore the risks and realities of entering a new relationship later in life through her journey, which offers valuable insights for avoiding regret and making more fulfilling choices. Mrs. Linda, a 62-year-old woman, shares her story. I've been married twice. My first husband passed away when I was 53. 3 years later, I remarried, but our marriage lasted only a year before ending in divorce. Reflecting on that second marriage still fills me with sadness and frustration. I hope my story will help others considering remarriage be cautious. I had retired at 50, hoping to travel and enjoy life with my husband after he retired. Tragically, he passed away before we had the chance. I was overwhelmed by grief for a long time. My son was worried about me and suggested I move in with him, but I didn't want to intrude on his life, as he was already so busy. Instead, he encouraged me to join a seniors travel group, but I decided on my own to sign up for a poetry and dance class to lift my spirits. That's where I met my second husband, Mr. James. First, we were casual acquaintances. One day, I sprained my ankle while coming down a flight of stairs. Mr. James immediately took me to the hospital and helped take care of me for several days when I couldn't attend class. Even after I recovered, he continued visiting and assisting me. Slowly, our connection deepened, and 2 months later, he proposed, saying he wanted to support and share life with me. I was delighted but didn't immediately say yes. Instead, I told him I would discuss it with my son. My son didn't oppose the idea but suggested meeting Mr. James's family to get to know him better. Mr. James agreed immediately. That evening, our families dined together. Afterward, my son advised me to take my time and not rush into marriage. But I was sure Mr. James was a good man, and just a few days later, we were married, and I moved into his home. First, we were happy. Even though I took on all the household chores, I didn't mind, as I was already accustomed to doing these things. The first sign of trouble emerged when 3 of my old friends invited me on a short trip. I agreed without much thought, but Mr. James wasn't pleased. He argued that if I went, there would be no one to handle the household chores. I felt as though I was being reduced to a housekeeper rather than an equal partner. That day, we had a heated argument. He said hurtful things, implying I was only valuable if I managed the house. For the first time, I questioned this marriage. After returning from my trip, tensions continued to rise. Mr. James's son was going through a divorce and soon moved in with his young son. Initially, I tried to treat his grandson as my own, but he was very particular and quick-tempered, especially if things didn't go his way. After several frustrating days, I felt I couldn't manage and suggested Mr. James's son take more responsibility. Mr. James firmly opposed my suggestion, saying, "You're not his mother, so don't interfere. If you can't handle it, leave it." I felt deeply hurt and ultimately came to realize that remarriage at this age brought more challenges than I anticipated. After months of strain, I chose to file for divorce. Fortunately, the process was smooth, and I regained my independence. Looking back, I realized that while living alone can be lonely, it's preferable to dealing with relentless discord and unhappiness. Mrs. Linda's story illustrates the complications that can arise when trying to blend lives and families in later years. First, remarriage at an older age often involves deeply ingrained habits and values that have developed over decades. These differences can make it challenging to live harmoniously. Unlike younger couples who may be more adaptable, older adults may struggle to adjust to the expectations and lifestyles of a new partner. Linda experienced this firsthand with conflicts over household roles and her travel plans. Such clashes can escalate, leading to dissatisfaction and emotional turmoil. Second, acceptance by the new partner's family can be difficult. Adult children and grandchildren, already accustomed to a certain way of life, may view a new partner as disruptive. In Linda's case, her husband's son and grandson created an unexpected strain on her marriage. The lack of acceptance or cooperation from a new family can create tension, resentment, and an unsupportive environment, making it hard for a marriage to thrive. Additionally, emotional readiness is essential. After losing a spouse, feelings of loneliness and anxiety about the future can prompt someone to seek companionship too quickly. Overlooking potential issues, Linda's hasty decision to marry Mr. James, despite her son's advice, led to heartbreak and disappointment. Emotional healing and a careful evaluation of personal needs are crucial before embarking on a new marriage. Lastly, financial and legal considerations, like inheritance rights, healthcare decisions, and asset division, often become complex topics in late-life marriages. While Linda's story didn't delve into these issues, they're important for anyone thinking about remarriage in their later years. While companionship in old age can be precious, Linda's story highlights the importance of cautious reflection and comprehensive assessment before deciding to remarry. Recognizing potential challenges can help individuals make informed choices that lead to a happier and more stable life. After losing a partner, life can feel empty, but it's possible to rediscover joy and purpose by moving through grief, fostering independence, and engaging in meaningful activities. You can build a fulfilling life by prioritizing self-care, participating in activities that bring happiness, and creating new social connections. Cherish your independence and keep the memory of your loved one close while also opening yourself to new experiences. These steps can help you heal and find a renewed sense of purpose. Remember, life is precious, and every moment is worth treasuring. By making wise choices and focusing on your well-being, you can overcome loss and continue to shine even after great challenges. Embracing life after loss often leads us to appreciate the unique gifts of growing older. Gifts that may not be immediately visible, but hold profound value. As we continue forward, let's explore 7 wonderful aspects of aging that bring wisdom, fulfillment, and newfound joys. As we move into the next stage of life, aging and retirement are often interconnected realities. Stepping into our later years brings a sense of transformation, a shift that can feel both daunting and unexpectedly fulfilling. In youth, we might view aging with trepidation, focusing on the physical or mental decline that society often emphasizes. However, the truth is that growing older offers unique rewards, a new kind of wisdom, and a deeper appreciation for life's nuances. Let's explore 7 wonderful aspects of aging, each carrying its own richness and insight. And please, share your thoughts. Perhaps you'll resonate with these points or have more to add that we've missed. Studies have shown that young people who adopt negative views of aging often carry a pessimistic outlook into their own later years. In contrast to those who are more open to the aging process, this contrast is fascinating and reflects a certain irony. Take, for instance, a group of 20-somethings making dismissive comments about a 50-year-old named Bill, who's dedicated to staying fit and healthy at his local gym. One has to wonder how they'll feel about their own bodies and habits when they reach his age. One, a deeper understanding of self. In our later years, we tend to develop a clearer understanding of who we are. Much like Sarah, a retired educator, we become more attuned to our strengths and preferences, recognizing the type of work or activities that resonate with us. This self-awareness fosters a sense of authenticity, We're less likely to be swayed by outside influences and more confident in who we are and what we stand for. With this confidence also comes compassion. We understand that everyone, including ourselves, is fallible, and we're more forgiving of our own and others' imperfections. 2. A clarity of what brings us joy. As we age, we grow wiser about the pursuits that genuinely make us happy. For example, Thomas, an avid traveler and writer, cherishes his time exploring new places and meeting diverse people. He has learned to say no to opportunities that don't align with his passions, choosing instead to spend his days immersed in writing, inspiring others, and embracing variety in life. This clarity allows us to curate our lives with a sense of purpose, gravitating toward experiences that truly enrich us. 3. Knowing the ideal environment for our growth. Unlike in youth, where one might endure chaotic workplaces or social scenes for the sake of fitting in, aging brings a heightened awareness of our optimal environment. Consider Lisa, a former marketing executive who now consults from her peaceful home office. She once worked in a bustling city environment, constantly surrounded by noise and activity. Now, she's embraced a quieter setting, allowing herself the focus she needs to think deeply and work with intention. Aging empowers us to prioritize settings that honor our need for tranquility, understanding that inner peace fuels greater fulfillment. 4. Trusting our instincts. With age, we often find ourselves more in tune with our instincts. Alex, once an analytical accountant, now trusts his gut feelings as much as any spreadsheet or data set. If something doesn't feel right, he's learned to walk away, trusting that his intuition has value. Where younger Alex might have deliberated endlessly, today he understands that some choices are better left to his intuition. This trust in our inner wisdom grows with age and becomes one of the most reliable guides in our lives. 5. Gratitude for life itself. Aging brings a profound gratitude for simply being alive. While some may complain of aches and pains, others, like Maria, a cancer survivor, savor each day with renewed appreciation. She lives with a sense of joy, grateful for every moment on this earth, rather than wasting energy on regrets or complaints. This gratitude changes how we approach each day, reminding us to cherish our time and focus on what truly matters, even if it's just a quiet morning coffee or a walk through the park. 6. Embracing the marks of time. Rather than comparing ourselves to younger generations or those with access to the best anti-aging treatments, we learn to appreciate the physical signs of a life well lived. Frank, a retired firefighter, wears his wrinkles and scars like badges of honor, each telling a story of bravery, resilience, and wisdom. These marks aren't imperfections. They are evidence of experiences, lessons, and a journey that only age can provide. There's a beauty in growing older, a freedom that comes with being comfortable in our own skin, no matter how it has changed. 7. A treasure trove of wisdom. Perhaps the greatest gift of aging is the wisdom we accumulate and, if we choose, the legacy we can share. Unlike in youth, where knowledge is often accompanied by uncertainty, aging grants us confidence in what we've learned. Like Eleanor, a retired teacher who mentors young educators, we find ourselves in a position to share insights, offer guidance, and bring compassion to those who may still be caught up in the whirlwind of life's challenges. And in sharing, we discover a kind of fulfillment that transcends the fleeting ambitions of youth. Aging, after all, is not just about surviving. It's about thriving in ways that are meaningful and unique to each of us. Let's carry these truths forward, embracing the later years as a journey that only grows richer with each passing day. As we continue to embrace the richness of life, it's important to reflect on the milestones that shape us. One such milestone that often brings both reflection and anticipation is turning 60. Is it truly the beginning of a new chapter, or a sign of decline? Let's explore what life at 60 can offer. An age that holds potential for new adventures, challenges, and discoveries. When I turned 50, I felt like I was at the peak of my life. There were still so many places to visit, things to do, and dreams to chase. I was vibrant, with work that filled my days and adventures that kept me on my toes. I thought I had years to go, and time was on my side. But when I hit 60, something shifted. I began to realize that this milestone wasn't just another birthday. It was a time of reflection. I had always believed that 80 was the age to start slowing down. So I convinced myself I had 20 more years of freedom to do everything I wanted. Yet, now, that belief doesn't feel as certain. Time seems to slip away faster than I ever imagined. Can I really do everything I dreamed of in the years ahead? What if I don't have that long? Take, for example, my passion for hiking. I once had grand plans to conquer the Grand Canyon on foot, spend days exploring every trail, and camping beneath the stars. But age has a way of putting things into perspective. Recently, I noticed that my legs don't carry me as quickly as they once did. I can't run up a mountain anymore like I did in my 40s. A few months ago, I tried climbing a local hill, nothing intense, just a few thousand feet. But halfway through, my knees started to ache, and my calves screamed for relief. I had to slow down. And that's when it hit me, the reality of getting older. Could I still climb the Grand Canyon? Probably not in the same way I once imagined. But perhaps there are different ways to enjoy nature. Maybe I can explore less strenuous trails, or take up a slower, more mindful form of walking, like nature meditation walks. There's a lot I can still do, even if it's not exactly what I envisioned. Some dreams I once had are now far out of reach. When I was younger, I always dreamed of being a renowned chef. I fantasized about opening my own restaurant, serving my favorite dishes, and hosting dinner parties for friends and family. But now, as I look back, I realize I'm not as passionate about cooking in the same way. There was a time when I would have jumped at the chance to enroll in culinary school. But now, the excitement has faded. It's not that I've given up on cooking. It's just that the desire to open a restaurant or become a celebrity chef has lost its allure. I still enjoy creating simple meals, but I've realized that life doesn't have to be about chasing every dream to its fullest. Sometimes, it's about letting go of what no longer excites you and making peace with it. Then, there's my love for adventure sports. I used to dream of skydiving over the Swiss Alps, or going bungee jumping in New Zealand. The thrill of extreme sports was once irresistible. But as I reflect on those old fantasies, I find myself asking, why did I want to do those things in the first place? Perhaps it was a desire to prove I could face fear head-on, to show myself that I could be fearless. Now, those same ideas feel less enticing. What I crave now is more internal adventure. I want to explore new parts of myself. Maybe it's writing, or taking up a creative art like photography, or just sitting quietly and meditating on life. The point is, we don't always need to take on the most physically demanding challenges or try to impress others. What's more important at this stage in life is learning to prioritize what brings us true joy. Sure, there are physical challenges that come with aging, but that doesn't mean we're out of the game. For example, I've had to adapt my workouts. I used to run marathons, and now I'm content with a brisk walk every morning, followed by yoga. I may not lift as much weight as I did in my younger years, but I'm proud of the fact that I can still do a solid push-up and maintain flexibility. It's not about being the strongest or fastest anymore. It's about maintaining a healthy, active lifestyle that feels right for me. I've also embraced my newfound independence. After years of being in relationships and always considering someone else's needs, I now have the freedom to do what I want when I want. Recently, I signed up for a pottery class, something I've always wanted to try but never found the time for. I've met a group of wonderful people there, and they've become my new community. It's amazing how quickly new friendships form when you allow yourself to be open to new experiences. As for my social life, I've learned to be selective. I've stopped saying yes to every invitation, and instead, I say no when I need to. Saying no doesn't feel selfish, it feels empowering. I've learned that it's okay to put my needs first and stop trying to fulfill everyone else's expectations. In fact, I've become a better listener because I'm no longer trying to solve everyone's problems. I let people figure things out on their own. It's a shift that's helped me feel more at peace with my choices. I've also come to terms with my appearance. I no longer try to fight aging, I embrace it. Sure, I have wrinkles, gray hair, and a few more pounds than I'd like, but my body has served me well, and I'm grateful for the experiences it's allowed me to have. I've stopped stressing about staying young. I wear clothes that make me feel good, not based on what's trending. I recently bought a bright red jacket. Even though I thought I'd never wear something so bold at my age, it feels liberating to make choices based on what I want, not on what society thinks I should wear. I've learned that living in my 60s isn't about slowing down or giving up. It's about embracing life in a new way, one that's filled with self-awareness, creativity, and the freedom to make choices that truly resonate with my soul. As I've embraced this new phase of life, I've come to realize that understanding my mind has become one of the most empowering aspects of this journey. It's a time when I can truly tune into my inner self and recognize the thoughts and feelings that guide me, shedding old patterns and embracing a more authentic version of who I am. As we grow older, there's a certain liberation that comes with shedding the masks we've worn throughout our lives. But how many of us truly allow ourselves to do this? And if we don't, what do we lose in the process? One of the things I love about getting older is realizing that I've finally come to understand my own mind. The unpredictability of life ahead doesn't bother me as much anymore, and I no longer feel compelled to endure things that don't serve me. I'm learning to let go of so much that once seemed necessary. In my younger years, I was constantly adapting to fit the expectations of others. I changed myself to please my bosses, projecting an image of being always enthusiastic, proactive, and ready to take on more work. It was all about staying late at the office, making career advancement my top priority. I thought that if I didn't return to work immediately after my maternity leave, my career would fall apart. This was the 1980s, when women were still trying to prove they could balance motherhood and a career. Take my friend Laura, for example. Back in her 30s, she was determined to prove her worth at work and would often put in long hours. Even on weekends, she felt guilty if she wasn't doing more, constantly striving to prove herself. But as she reached her 50s, something changed. After a period of reflection, she realized she had been chasing the wrong goals. Now, she works fewer hours, focuses on quality rather than quantity, and enjoys the balance she's built between work and life. What Laura came to understand is what I now appreciate as well. Life is full of opportunities, and the idea that we must sacrifice everything for career success is limiting. Now, I do things on my own terms. If I feel like dancing, I do it without worrying about what others think, though. Let's be honest. Most people are too glued to their phones to notice anyway. I go to events by myself if no one else is available to join me. I approach strangers with curiosity, asking them questions that might make them pause and think. I stand up for myself when necessary, voicing my thoughts and concerns, but with confidence and subtlety. Isn't that what we all eventually do? We reach a point where we stop caring about other people's judgments. Take my friend Robert, a 60-year-old lawyer. He was always the one to bend over backward to meet others' expectations. He never said no to a request, whether it was at work or in his personal life. But when he hit 60, something shifted. Now, he's learned to protect his time fiercely. If he doesn't want to go to a dinner, he simply says no and doesn't feel guilty about it. He's learned that there's no need to apologize for taking care of his own needs first. Robert's transformation is a reminder that sometimes we have to reach a certain age to finally live life on our own terms. The beauty of this stage in life is that we no longer feel the pressure to live up to others' expectations. If I want to join something, I'll do it. If I don't, I won't. And I've stopped pushing my friends or family into situations they don't want to be in either. There's something so freeing about this phase. It's as though, in our 50s and 60s, we finally have permission to stop caring about things that used to matter so much, like what others think, what we should be doing, or whether we're fulfilling some external standard of success. The change is even more profound when it comes to physical appearance. I've embraced my gray hair and stopped obsessing over the lines on my face. These are the marks of a life well lived. For me, that means no longer hiding behind layers of makeup or worrying if I'm keeping up with the latest beauty trends. And it's not just about vanity. It's about embracing the passage of time and appreciating what it has given me. My friend Maria, for instance, used to constantly color her hair, afraid of the gray creeping in. But as she entered her 60s, she decided to let it grow out. Now, She walks with a new confidence, fully owning her look. One of the most valuable lessons of aging is understanding that who you are is enough. This self-acceptance allows us to show up more authentically in the world. We've experienced the highs and lows, the success and failure, and through it all, we've learned what truly matters. The external pressures fade, and what remains is our connection with the present moment. We stop trying to impress and start simply living, free from the constraints we once placed on ourselves. In fact, research shows that those in their 50s and 60s who are passionate about environmental or social issues are often those who, in their youth, fought for peace, fought against injustice, and demanded change. As we age, we grow into a version of ourselves that cares less about what others think and more about what we can contribute to the world. We are driven by purpose, not external validation. Aging, after all, is not just about surviving, it's about thriving. It's about living with intention, embracing who we are, and doing what makes us feel fulfilled. The wisdom that comes with age allows us to see the bigger picture and, ultimately, find peace with the person we've become. The more we accept our true selves, the more we realize that our best years are ahead of us. And that's something worth celebrating. As we reflect on the wisdom that aging brings, we begin to recognize the many benefits of growing older, each one adding richness to our lives. Let's explore the 20 incredible advantages of aging, and how each one offers a unique opportunity to live life more fully. 1. Reduced fear of failure. As we age, we naturally become more resilient and less fearful of failure. Having faced various challenges and setbacks in life, we gain the confidence to take risks, try new things, and approach failure with maturity. Take Susan, for example, a 62-year-old former corporate lawyer. She always feared making the wrong decision. But now, after years of navigating the complexities of the corporate world, she embraces the uncertainty that comes with starting a new business venture. Aging gives us the courage to fail and learn, instead of being paralyzed by it. 2. Enhanced creativity. Age brings an accumulation of knowledge and experience, which can significantly boost our creativity. With the wisdom of years, we are able to approach problems and challenges from different angles. David, at 68, never considered himself an artist until he started painting after retiring. He now creates stunning landscapes that not only bring him joy but have even found a place in local galleries. The creative potential we unlock with age is often hidden in the passion and freedom that comes with embracing our true selves. 3. Higher emotional intelligence. With time, we often develop a stronger ability to regulate our emotions and empathize with others. This emotional maturity helps build deeper, more meaningful relationships. Take Emily, a 64-year-old grandmother, who shares that her emotional intelligence has grown through the years of raising her children and caring for elderly parents. She now connects with her family in ways that go beyond superficial interactions. She listens and understands their emotional needs more intuitively than ever before. 4. Deeper connection with nature. As we grow older, many of us start to feel a profound sense of peace and connection when surrounded by nature. The quiet beauty of a forest or the sound of ocean waves can offer solace. After retiring, Robert, 72, spends his weekends hiking in the mountains, feeling more connected to the earth than he ever did in his younger years. Nature becomes a refuge where we find calm, balance, and a deeper appreciation for the world around us. 5. Less peer pressure. As we age, societal pressures to conform or keep up with peers diminish. This gives us the freedom to make choices that align with our true values. Jennifer, a 60-year-old social worker, recalls how she used to worry about keeping up with trends or competing with her colleagues in her younger years. But now, she feels liberated, choosing to volunteer for causes that resonate deeply with her, rather than succumbing to external expectations. 6. Better problem-solving skills. Years of experience help refine our problem-solving abilities, allowing us to approach challenges with a clearer, more practical mindset. With age, we learn that there are often multiple solutions to a problem. Tom, 65, a retired engineer, shares how his ability to troubleshoot complex issues at work has transferred into his personal life. helping him resolve family conflicts with patience and clarity. 7. Increased patience and tolerance. With age often comes a greater capacity for patience and a deeper understanding of others. Our experiences help us accept people's differences, fostering a more harmonious and empathetic society. For Clara, 70. Spending time with her diverse group of friends has opened her eyes to different perspectives and taught her the power of tolerance. She now mentors younger colleagues in her community, helping them navigate challenges with empathy. 8. Freedom from societal norms. Aging brings the liberation to live authentically, unconstrained by societal expectations. This freedom allows us to embrace who we truly are, without the need for approval. Richard, 69. Retired early and now dedicates his time to woodworking and writing. No longer burdened by the need to meet social standards, he finds joy in his creative pursuits, unapologetically living life on his own terms. 9. Lifelong learning. Aging fuels a thirst for continuous learning. Whether it's pursuing new hobbies, diving into books, or exploring unfamiliar subjects, older adults often remain passionate learners. Alice, at 63, enrolled in a pottery class and found herself discovering new techniques that had never crossed her mind in her younger years. The desire to learn doesn't fade with age. It transforms into a deeper exploration of the world. 10. Opportunities to explore new interests. Retirement or a shift in life priorities gives us the time to explore hobbies we never had the chance to pursue. Brian, 67. Always had an interest in astronomy but didn't have the time to explore it while working. Now, he spends his evenings stargazing and even became a member of an amateur astronomy club. Aging provides the space to follow passions and discover new ones. 11. Improved problem-solving abilities with age. Our ability to assess situations and find practical solutions improves. This skill grows sharper with every challenge faced over the years. Carol, 60. Remembers how, in her youth, she would rush into decisions, often overlooking simpler solutions. Now, she approaches life's hurdles with calmness, recognizing that wisdom comes from experience, not haste. 12. Increase gratitude as we grow older. We often find ourselves appreciating the small blessings of life. Gratitude becomes a powerful force for well-being, shifting our perspective towards positivity. For Henry, 72. Gratitude for the everyday moments like enjoying a quiet morning coffee has deepened over time. He writes daily in his journal, listing what he's thankful for, which has significantly enhanced his overall happiness. 13. More time for reflection. The reduction in work commitments allows for a more introspective lifestyle. With fewer distractions, we can turn inward, gaining deeper understanding and insight into ourselves. Marie, 65. Spends her mornings meditating, reflecting on her life's journey. These moments of stillness have helped her develop a more grounded sense of self-awareness and fulfillment. 14. Building a legacy. Later years often prompt a focus on leaving a positive impact on the world, whether it's through community involvement, family, or charitable work. We seek to create a lasting legacy. John, 75. Has dedicated his time to mentoring youth in his neighborhood, ensuring that his knowledge and kindness will echo through the generations. 15. Reduced materialism as we age. We tend to place less value on material possessions, finding fulfillment instead in experiences and relationships. This shift allows for a more meaningful life. Margaret, 68. No longer focuses on acquiring the latest gadgets but cherishes her time with her grandchildren and the experiences they share. 16. Leadership and mentorship. Older individuals often become mentors, guiding the younger generation through their knowledge and experience. Sandra, 70. Now offers mentorship to young women in her community, helping them navigate career choices and life challenges. Her role as a leader has given her a new sense of purpose in her later years. 17. Inner peace and contentment. The wisdom gained over a lifetime allows for a deeper sense of inner peace. We become less concerned with external validation and more content with who we are. Mark, 66. Finds peace in his daily routines and enjoys the simplicity of life. something he never appreciated in his busy working years. 18. Heightened intuition. With age comes a sharper sense of intuition, a skill that helps us make better decisions and understand situations on a deeper level. Jill, 64. Reflects on how her intuition has become her guiding force, especially when making important life decisions such as relocating to a new city. 19. A broader perspective on history and world events. Having lived through many historical events, older adults gain a unique perspective on the world. Helen, 70. Often shares her experiences of living through pivotal moments in history, such as the civil rights movement and the moon landing, providing younger generations with valuable context. 20. Sharing wisdom. Finally, aging offers the opportunity to pass down knowledge to younger generations. Whether through storytelling, teaching, or advising, older individuals have a wealth of experience to share. Joe, 71. Has written a book about his life experiences, aiming to inspire others and leave a lasting imprint on the world. The benefits of aging are not just about physical health but about the richness of experience, wisdom, and connection. As we age, we come to understand ourselves better, embrace life's challenges with grace, and find joy in the simplest moments. The beauty of growing older lies not in the years themselves but in how we choose to live them. If these insights have inspired you, or if you'd like to learn more about navigating life's later years with intention and fulfillment, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Together, let's explore the beauty of aging and embrace the endless possibilities it holds. Thank you for joining me on this journey.